This is going to be a bloom tutorial in our Crystal Edge sea mold. I'm using Castin Craft white pigment paste for my white, Octopus Fluids Sun Resin ink, Sweet Cherry Resin ink, and Night Blue Resin ink. Even though it showed beetroot right there, Kevin edited this video for me and put that in, and it was a mistake. I also have some glass glitter for the center. There it is, Sweet Cherry and Night Blue resin inks from Octopus Fluids. I started out by putting about 1.75 ounces of magic resin, which is tabletop and art resin, in the bottom. I waited for it to heat up to 33 to 34 degrees Celsius before adding the glitter and starting to do my drops. As you see, after it's gotten warm to the 33 to 34 degrees Celsius, the colors don't move as fast, and they certainly don't dissipate like regular cheap alcohol ink does. These resin inks are 5 times more saturated than regular alcohol inks are. So now I'm onto the Sweet Cherry, just going on the outside of the sun resin with the dots. They are spreading a little bit. And then I'm going around the border of that with the Night Blue. After I did this pour, I realized I've done a few different ones with purples and greens and yellows. The yellow ended up getting totally swallowed by these darker colors. The Sweet Cherry isn't that dark, but the Night Blue is a bit darker than other colors I've used. And while it's beautiful, I'm going to test some lighter colors in the future. Now I just took a silicone pen and just went and did little swirls, which people normally don't do when they're doing a bloom tutorial. But I found it worked good in my trays, so I figured I would try it here. Just taking it, swirling through the top, not going through to the front of the tray, just sort of blending the colors into each other. I then had 1 ounce of resin that I put 3 drops of Castin Craft white pigment paste into to do the swirls with. Still drawing and swirling here with the colors, just trying to get it to the outside edge of the resin. This being our Crystal Edge sea mold, I didn't want the clear resin to go up into the crystals, and I found 1.75 ounces was about enough to keep it under the crystal edges. I cut the tip off my white piping bag here, and instead of doing circles like people normally do with blooms, I did swirls. Don't ask me why. Like I said before, my best laid plans always change when I start doing resin. I figured the colors were dense enough. I didn't use the full 1 ounce of resin, probably about a ½ ounce, but I figured the colors were dense enough to take the extra swirls of white and it wouldn't blow out with white. So after I've done a few swirls there, I then take the silicone pen again and draw through making the blooms. Or the bloom lines, I should say. You're basically taking it from a clock position, like 12 and 6, 3 and 9, dragging from the outside in. And after you've done all those spokes, dragging from the inside out. Even though I probably lost track again, did them one way or the other. Especially with these dark colors, you can't even see that I'm pulling white through here. But I've never had a bloom go bad. So I'm just following the way to do it to draw the bloom spokes. Once that is set up, you see the colors still haven't dissipated. They're still pretty dark. I knew that if I put black on the back of this, it would be way too dense. So I've started using interference powder. This is blue interference from Pearl X, and I'm just painting on the back of the entire piece. This way, when it does a bit of a separation from the black I'm going to pour on the back, and this one turned out exceptionally well, as you'll see in the end result. Kevin has sped up the video here a little bit, just show me painting the edges with a paintbrush. It's just dry powder on the cured resin. Then I mixed up some black mica powder and JDiction resin. It's Art Pro Black Pearl. And I had some Let's Resin black glitter, very, very fine glitter, because I don't want too much in our crystal edges. And this is about 4 ounces to fill the back, and I just poured that around. So there's really only 3 steps to do this: doing your blooms, painting the interference powder, and then doing the finished back. I'm just tapping it there, and I use a silicone pen to go into the little crystal edges and make sure they all have resin in it. After that's dried, it's time for the reveal. That interference powder put a gorgeous glow. You can't really see it in the photos, but in person, it's phenomenal. Let us know what you think about the finished product in the comments below.